Um, this is a mobile stream, but it's faceless, and I don't have the little audio thing. I'm in bed. I can't sleep. I just can't fucking sleep. Like I'm tired as shit though. Like I'm tired but can't sleep. The worst combo of things. So I need to sleep. A lot of stuff going on personally. A lot of stuff going on in the world. Epstein, right? That's the big thing. The Super Bowl just happened. A lot to unpack there. Um, J. Cole just dropped. I'm working on my own project. Then I got the house thing. Then I'm trying to get this weight off. Hey, you got two people already. Two classic ninjas. My man Zombie Man, my man Cotton. Appreciate y'all both being here. Hope you're having a good day. Good, early morning, I guess, or late night, depending on, what it is. Like I said, for me, late night, can't sleep. Did get some music done, which is always cool. Kind of gave me a little energy that I didn't expect. Thinking about, if the day, if I'm up while the day breaks, I still got some energy. I may take a walk. I gotta do something. I don't know. Got this weird where I'm tired and sleepy at this, tired and wired at the same time. That's what I'm trying to say. A little sleepy and a little energy, but I did not unpack the Super Bowl. I did kind of an obligatory Tekken video game stream just to do it, just to keep the Sunday thing going. Trying to reestablish Sunday. We're taking back Sunday like the emo band in the 2000s and TBS in the 90s, which is where they got it from. So we're doing the Sunday night games every week. So it's like, okay, you want to see a Vigilante Williamson stream, no matter what the fuck happens throughout the week, no matter what the fuck happens, Sunday night you're gonna get something. So that's what we're trying to reestablish. But I didn't really talk much about the Super Bowl, the Super Bowl. I talked a little bit. The commercials were all AI focused. Like I don't know if there was a single commercial that didn't either feature AI in what we saw or wasn't for AI. Lots of gambling on top of it, lots of gambling, lots of nostalgia. Um, as far as the commercials, allegedly there was a Epstein Survivor commercial. It looks like it got nixed. Pun intended for Bo Nix, who wasn't in the game, but is a quarterback. As far as the game itself, wasn't the biggest offensive display. I mean, both offenses kind of sucked, but Seattle sucked less, so they at least got something from the running back, Michigan State's own Kenneth Walker III, Memphis' own. Shout out to Memphis, Tennessee. Shout out to East Lansing. And shout out to the Seahawks. Congrats for the Super Bowl win. Will Campbell, who's the left tackle for the Patriots, is getting dragged by the internet. It's just kind of crazy. You don't really see. This year's been the most focused on offensive line I've ever seen. I think because defensive line and edge rushers in general, and we saw that for the Seahawks amongst other teams, just have gotten so much better than the offensive line. And you got like 10, 15, 20 teams. Oh, man, we got to improve our offensive line. And it's just become the thing to complain about, but it is what it is. The talent level at D-line is just crazy. We see these things go in waves relative to the game. I mean, do I still think things were rigged? Yeah, especially when you see that touchdown towards the end, which was probably the best play of the game, had a very suspicious holding call. And of course, had that touchdown counted, the over would have hit in many sports books, and 71% of people would have gotten a paycheck. So you definitely think something suspicious when that happens. So yes, rigging, point shaving, all that stuff is still in play when it comes to the Super Bowl. When it comes to the NFL, it's still a game. It's still part of the system. But it's been decent entertainment to me, honestly, over the past few years, especially the past 10. I'd be rather use the Super Bowl, rather use the regular season and the playoffs, whatever. Just the mask has come off. The disbelief is a lot hard to suspend for watching these games. It's hard to not see how staged slash rigged slash whatever these are. This game didn't really. I mean, like I said, that moment toward the end was definitely a point shaving moment. Um, There were definitely a lot of dropped interceptions. But this game was just just another game. One of the worst offensive games I ever saw. Um, I'd never seen that many possessions in the game, like which was three and out, 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 three and out from both teams. It was just like I'd never seen that many possessions. So shout out to both defenses. Interesting to see people talk about Sam Darnold. We still have this quarterback centric obsession. The meta has actually changed for the on field, but the meta and the commentary is still lagging. It's like, listen, quarterbacks are important, no doubt, but Tom Brady's not walking through that door. Peyton Manning's not walking through that door. It's not about having the best quarterback. That's not how you win in football. It's not about paying the quarterback $70 million, Brad Holmes, or even 50. You know what I mean? It's about having a complete team. Maybe you pay a little bit less for a quarterback. Darnold's still a good quarterback. He's still top 12 in this era. I mean, there's a lot of guys you have to wonder. Oh yeah, wait, now it's bread and circuses. Bread and circuses. But I'm just describing what they did with the elephants, man. I mean, the bread is moldy, the circuses are boring. But it's still, honestly, it's not still. It's starting to fall off as a circus. I want, I can't. It's harder to watch the circus. I wish the circus was better. The ringleaders have gotten lazy. They've gotten really lazy. I think sports is going to have just a tremendous fall off in 20 years. Within 20 years, it's already happening for baseball and basketball. Certainly, I mean, as much as everyone has talked about LeBron James and this, when he retires, and then when Steph retires, it's over. It is all over for that league. I just don't see how it can return to anything close to what it was. Not just even talking about the 90s or the 80s or the 2000s, but even 10, 15 years ago. It's such a cooked sport. It's no longer a watchable sport. And Wake Dog likes the elephants too. Hey, who knew the salt must flow? Classic OG. Speaking of classic ninjas, 12:25 p.m. in the UK. Shout out to the UK. Good luck in the UK. Good time for you. Daughter, it supports two teams, New England Patriots and USA, Arsenal Football Club and soccer. That is one thing I will say for the NFL. You are seeing it get a lot bigger over there, over in Europe and other places, Europe and Australia. And the UK, they're starting. That's why they play over there so often. Who do why has the NFL picked up so big over in the UK over the past 10, 15 years? You're really seeing a lot of fan base. I mean, you'll come across channels. I've talked about how you don't see as many young channels, but I'll say this: if I do, they're going to be from the UK or Australia. You don't necessarily see too many American channels for guys who are under 30, maybe. I know the guy Ruben 713 Sports, 'cause I follow a lot of Houston teams too. He's about 28, I think. That's about as young as it gets. And I think it was the other guy like All Pro Sports. I think he's in his mid 20s. He's a little younger than he sounds and where his wisdom is about the game. Uh, I thought he was like my age, but he's like in his 20s. But outside of that, most channels, most content creators are older. But if there is an exception to that rule, they're in the UK. I'm like, what happened to where American football, has gotten so big over there? Gotten so big over there. So, da, da, da. Ironically, I think it's falling off for the same reason. Everything physical. Well, you know what? The government gave out birth control like candy, and then let a bunch of hoes piss off, literally piss off the testosterone of society through the sewer system. I mean, that was their decision. I don't know what they thought was going to happen. But yeah, there's something to that. Might have been taking field to field, SFT with football falling off, wrestling fall. Yeah, I mean, again, this is what you want. You get what you want. You get what you pay for, government. And you know what I mean? You toss You chemically castrate generations of men. You socially and emotionally castrate generations of men. You have generations of the dad being the dumbest character on every TV show, and feminist this, feminist that, to the point where shout out to Kit Wilson. His whole character is that he's a feminist. He's a male feminist, but he's an actual male feminist. He's like the same way they're absolutely toxic. He's always criticizing men, but he treats women like shit. It's like, God, Lee, they nailed it. They fucking nailed it with this character. Shout out to Kid Wills. He one of fun. There's not a lot of modern wrestlers I like. I do like him. They fucking nailed this character. Fucking nailed it. But that's what the government wanted. So enjoy. You know, this is what you wanted. This is you ordered this. But who knew bought her replica New England Patriot helmet? I was rooting against them. I actually thought the Patriots would win. But I was rooting against them. I'm like, man, as a Lions fan who has suffered for my entire life, I, this is why I still watch. I know it's fake. I just want them to I just want them to book my team to win. I just booked the Lions to win one Super Bowl. Fucking please. Even the Jets have won. Yeah, it's really early, but they still have one. Give us just one. So I couldn't bear to see the New England start again. And I thought they would. I thought because of the way the schedule would turned out, I thought, oh, they're about to give New England another one. But shout out to sometimes Vegas will fuck it up. Women's beach volleyball needs to go arena style. I've been saying for years that feminists are the reason that women's beach. How is women's beach volleyball not the number one sport on earth? I mean, just think about it. It should be, but they're intentionally withholding the marketing dollars and infrastructure from women's beach volleyball because of the male gaze. Because otherwise, could a sport be easier to market than women's beach volleyball? Is there a sport on earth that would be easier to? Is there anything on earth that would be easier to market? Even with the feminized male epidemic, we got a gold epidemic. We have a gold epidemic, so it's just the eat. But it'll never happen. But they'll push the shit out of WNBA. But yet these feminized men don't care about the physical activities. Yeah, I'd watch that. Everybody would watch that. Football is gay, according to them. That's what they said themselves. That's what they said themselves. As far as going back to what I asked, like how did it get? It started to get so big in the UK. It's so big. That's why they've invested so much in going over to the UK and Germany and Europe and Brazil and Mexico and everywhere they fucking go. Not sure. Good marketing by the NFL was also big in the mid '80s when I was in high school, secondary school, and it was into the LA Raiders. Shout out to the Raiders. They were very. It's funny down there in Vegas, but they had a control of the meta of the '80s. Bo Jackson, Marcus Allen, what's my man, Lyle Alzado, he's fucking crazy, Bill Romanowski. They were such a rebellious organization that meta. They were NWA used to wear the Raiders colors and the Raiders stuff, so that was a huge thing. Here's the theory, Vidge. Europeans like soccer because it was an international game. Ooh. Now that Europe that's kind of racist. But Europe is primarily I'll be kind. We'll say primary what's the word they use? Asian. They call it Asian, even though we would say, whatever. But we'll just say Asian. They're not interested in watching soccer. They want something different. Interesting take. But I guess it's not totally racist because the NFL is mostly black. Mid '80s, yeah, I correct it. As a guy who lived in Boston for a couple years after Brady won a Super Bowl, they literally closed the schools to do a parade. Fuck the Patriots, yeah, fuck the Patriots. Happy Tuesday, DB. I'm not sure what your name is, but appreciate you being here. Male feminists and Gouda are going to end society once AI gets a little better. Like I said, morally, it's taking all I can not to just, especially I'm very close to buying a house. And boy, can I use the money. It's, but I believe in Jesus and I just don't think that I have enough stuff. I smoke weed. I curse. I don't want to add And I know the despair that comes from porn use to encourage porn into people for money. It makes I'm no better than Andrew Tate. Well, I mean, I'm also not kidnapping and trafficking 15-year-olds. And yes, who knew there was, it may even still it exists. Yeah, there was a female American Football League, scantily clad, the LFL, which was the first lingerie football league, and I think they called it the Legends Football League. Uh, they don't want to push something that's so obviously like they'll push OnlyFans, they'll push something that's salacious directly, right? But they don't want to push something like we're not a generation like you used to have Maxim and FHM for whatever it's worth that hey, this is not or Hooters, right? These were things that were not porn, but still appealed to the sexuality of women and to the sexuality of men, right? Appealed using the sexuality of women to men. Sex sales, right? So you used to have these things in society, and they don't want things like that no more. They're cool with you in your private, on the hub, on OF or whatever, and they're cool pushing that, but they don't want things that are just mainstream, where obviously the appeal is women are attractive, men find women are attractive. They don't want things like that. They don't want that to be a mainstream thing. Uh, Not anymore, at least. Yeah, it's not that right. I'm trying to be kinder and gentler. I guess G stuff. I don't know. I don't know how racist or non-racist Gene is. But I don't know. I just feel weird. I feel weird just calling a bunch of people like a weird off term. I mean, you know what I mean? Like listen, Indians have never done anything to me. What's up, this one girl? But I liked her. She was cool. So it's not like I have some real beat. Like a lot of stuff. Like they ain't fuck with me. You know what I mean? It ain't my life. It ain't fucking with me. So like, why be disrespectful to them? I'm not racist. I call your black friend. Well, I mean, I guess you call us my white friend. So it works both ways. Never Ravens fan that had peak clothes. That's just cold logo. Cold logo and black, white, and silver are just cold colors. All black is just a cool thing. That's why we like Batman and shit. And Punisher. Just all black is just cold. Uh, Not on the no. I'm not on the Epstein list. Neither is Vince McMahon. Women in those games, they liked it. And yeah, they were working hard. I have on the Instagram. There's one highlight of that league, and it was actually a hard tackle. I said we're here for the cake, not the CTE, because it was a brutal hit. But yeah, like I said, there's this push against mainstream PG-13 uh sexuality, even though we live in a world where I mean, especially as I'm going back to the gym more and not just join a larger commercial gym. I mean, hoes are walking around with their ass out every day, every single day. So it's like it's weird that there is such a push against. It's just weird. Listen, I don't understand everything about feminism. Where they want this idea that they want to empower women to be sluts. They want to empower women to dispower them. I mean, I understand some of it, but when you actually get to the nuance of the practice of like, okay, sexuality here but not there, I'm sure there's some big brain psychological reason. I'm sure, but I don't quite understand everything. I just know that is the case. OnlyFans is empowering. They won't push beach volleyball, something like that. Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't think about that. Physical fitness, which I think is backfire. I think Gen Z is like the most gymmed out generation. Lord knows, like when I go, I mean, yeah, there's a few old heads in there, a few people my age. But man, it's a lot of broccoli haired kids. And good for them, man. Good for them. They're in good shape. Shit. Better to be in some good shape. So I think it's backfire. I mean, and it's young men and women, you know what I mean? In the gym. There's a lot of people in the gym. And you're starting to see more women actually lift weights too. They're not just doing cardio. You know what I'm saying? So, and they're not just doing legs either. Girls working on their back, girls working on their arms and shoulders. upper body stuff. So we're starting to, as much as that is a push, I do agree that they don't, because that will be the backlash is, because what happens is, and that's how we did have the heroin chic era, but no matter what you say, men like women, women like men. No matter, despite all the bullshit, all the drama, all the podcasts, we like each other. We love each other. That's why we marry a couple up and still have kids. Not at the rate we used to, nowhere near, but we still do. So if you, in the same way that when you provide super masculine role models, men try to emulate, if you provide these very attractive, very athletic women, women are going to try to emulate. They already do with some of the women that do exist. Hell, that's part of the reason wrestling can still maintain popularity. They have so many more women fans, and yeah, a lot of them are watching for the men, but a lot of them also watching for the women. They see the examples. They want to start deadlifting too. They want to start getting into the gym too. They want to look like Rhea Ripley or whoever the fuck, or they want to look like whoever the example is. So if you had a massive league and you allow women, a beach volleyball star to exist, then a lot of women, oh man, I want to look like her. I want to be like her because I see all the male attention she's getting and all the money and that, I want to do it too. And I think it would really put you, you're right. I think that might be the reason. They don't want to push something athletic towards women. I mean, they want to push Ozempic towards women. They don't want to push athleticism and physical fitness. They're trying to get rid of physical fitness as much as they can. And you're not wrong. Same group that runs the NFL runs OF and everything else. It's just a coincidence. I keep telling you, Cotton. It's an absolute coincidence. So, you have to meet them. Quite possible most accurate stereotype on Earth. Maybe. Vince not being on the list is one of the most surprising things. Yeah, it is. Very surprising. Because he's pretty cool with Trump on top of everything. He's pretty cool with the New York area. That New York upper class area that Epstein was a part of. You would think they ran in some of the same circles. And Lord knows he's on some freak type of time. Legion of Skanks is in the Epstein files. That's crazy. I think I do remember. I think I saw that clip of them talking about it. I think like somebody just wanted to go because there's some benign stuff in there. So I think they just wanted to go to one of their shows, if I remember correctly. It's natural for women to want to fund it. Lord knows it is, and we shouldn't stop that natural urge. I agree. That's why feminism had to make they say, okay, we know women like to show themselves off. So, that's where you get it's not about you. Which there is a lever of truth on it because there is something, egotistical, but, it's not about men or, she's owning it or whatever the fuck. They have to do something with that to make it so it's not about men and women coupling it up because you still have to make this as a divisive tactic, right? But don't get me wrong, love the 90s, but cocaine thin chicks with perms is not attractive. Glad we moved past that, the shoulder pads. I agree. I'm glad we have more full body women. Can't have no girl with no skinny legs like Joe Tex. Shout out to Doob. And yeah, the shoulder pads was wild. That late 80s, early 90s power suit shit. I never understood that. I guess it was to appear more masculine. I don't know. Let's go back to the 70s where women were hot and the men dressed like women. In the 70s and 80s, you had that that bell bottom and the paisley and some of the there was a lot of weird stuff. As much as we talk about some of the effeminate men, we were just talking about that. It didn't just start, it didn't pop out. You had that shit in the 70s, the glam era, 80s era. Had someone actually, legit go, it's a coincidence? Like, for real, it's a coincidence? Well, it is. Stop asking questions. Stop fucking asking questions, Cotton. Shit. Had someone on Twitter use it. It's a coincidence excuse on me last week. That's what Cotton said. This point's a convinced they're trolling us. And I mean, the people rolling the show. Oh, definitely there's a troll. I don't believe every detail that's in the Epstein file. I think some of this is I think there's some maybe some Chat GPT, maybe some hot sauce on a lot of the stuff that they even released. I think it's a mix of real and some hot sauce and some silliness. And then, some people are pointing out that certain documents are redacted. Then you have another copy of the same document. It's not. I think they're definitely playing in our faces. Uh, the Matrix beam is real. 99 was peak humanity. That's why your circle of friends condemned glam rock. The shit was gay. Hey, I'm not disagreeing. Disagreeing. It definitely was. Don't knock the 70s, 80s, 90s. Let's get physical. Physical. Remember the leotards? I love 80s and 90s, especially early 90s. I love everything between 78 and 92. I love all sorts of cultural things. I love the cheesiness. I love that cheesy neon spandex stuff. And I also love the dichotomy of what the 80s are perceived as and what it really was. Because it really, I came around in the 90s when we still had smoking sections. You got the reverb of the 80s. I was born in 87, but I would never consider myself an 80s baby. But you still got, you might see Thundercats, you might see He-Man or G.I. Joe. And, I remember that early 90s kind of brownness to the society. You still had smoking sections, you still had stuff like that. So, yeah, rap gets a bad rap, pun intended, but rock doesn't get enough. Yeah, rock definitely has this, the whole hair metal era. You want to talk about the gay, there's a lot of gay stuff now with rap, but yeah, that hair metal era. It's that then you take what we know now about the industry. Yeah, some of those guys took some pee. Our PE teacher fans do the robots to the Porter Sisters and Starship. Hell no. I've had this argument with Nick Weiser. They use rock and metal to pull a lot of this shit. Yeah, of course they did. Nothing's been untouched. Nothing. There is nothing that sold to millions of people that went untouched. Even hundreds of thousands of people that goes untouched, man. I guess YouTube. I don't think every YouTuber in the six figures or even in the seven figures is drinking chrome. We'll call it. But a lot of stuff, especially we're talking about the past. That I'm sorry, there was a lot of it was to push some bullshit. Rather it was hey, a lot of it, even the demonology. I know a lot of because there's a decent correlation of people who are atheists. A lot of atheists don't take any spirituality serious. So they just the demonology stuff, and that's why a lot of times they have fun, and that's their business. I'm not here to knock or shit on that. That's your business, right? Um, but just because you don't take it seriously doesn't mean everyone else does. So yes, that was a part. That was definitely a part of it. Just like it still is with the music thing. Uh, it's funny you just mentioned Satanic Panic. I lived through the '80s Satanic Panic. Hilarious watch the same thing now happening with pop music. Um, it's almost a little weirder with pop music because it's like, okay, why did you just put this like ritual in this music video, this shitty generic pop song, but then there's like demons walking around or like it's weirder. It at least with the metal, it fit thematically for what like I'm hearing and what I'm seeing. But there's some very like some of these music videos to like generic pop songs have very occultic and dark video. Like, what is going on here? Uh I remember I remember wearing regular clothes at school, having to memorize phone number. I do too. Having a living map in my head, smoking at Waffle House. Now, I didn't smoke at Waffle House. I didn't. By the time I didn't smoke anything but marijuana, so I never smoked tobacco. And even by the time I was old enough, that the smoking section was done. I graduated as old as I am. I graduated in '05. Uh, so that's a theory. You want to go down that rabbit hole right now? Says more and more convinced the New Testament is a fabrication to destroy Christianity. There's a lot of people who don't believe in the New Testament. Um, that's a can of worms. I'd rather not. As somebody, I've heard what the hell's the family that supposedly wrote the New Testament. I've heard of that. I've heard people try to debunk it. I do tend to believe in the Bible as a whole thing, both old and new. I do also find the Ethiopian Bible, which has books. I think that's the most complete wide used Bible. That it has books that aren't in the not only are it not in the main 66 book canon, but not even in the Apocrypha. They have book. There's already the Apocrypha, and there's extra books that are not even there that are in the Ethiopian Bible. Um, one of these days I'm gonna really, and I'll be honest, I'm afraid to. I'm absolutely afraid to. I have faith in, and I believe in Jesus. I pray. I've had too many things positive to come from prayer to go back. It's just it's had positive and negative. Even the ones, every prayer has been answered in some way that I've ever prayed. Um, so it's like, and that a lot of things back to 1,000, and prayer has um, earnest prayer, right? So that's impacted my beliefs. One of these days, I'm gonna take the time and I'm gonna really read through the Bible multiple times. I'm gonna read through multiple versions of the Bible. I'm going to have my personal research journey with the Bible. That's one thing I've always prayed for. I do. You never know when your time is up, right? So who knows if I ever get that time to actually do it. But that's what I want to do one of these days. Like, I'm going to figure out for my individual self. Uh, use the book, use research, do everything I can. So I would honestly wouldn't be prepared to have that conversation about whether the New Testament is a fabrication, even if I don't necessarily believe it. I'm in no position to defend that position. So, uh, is that the? I think I vaguely remember a breakdown of that Timberlake video. Supplies. Got to watch it all the way to the end. It was very like a. If I remember, it was like apocalyptic. I wish I was on the computer. I could look it up and we could watch it. But oh well. People are yeah, this is true, Cotton. People at those pop shows are having memory loss, no matter how big the burning pentagram on stage. I remember all the Slayer shows I've seen. Yeah, there's a weird thing, memory loss. They don't remember it, and then there was that infamous shit at the Travis Scott where all these people passed out, couldn't breathe, felt demonic energy. But that memory loss thing at these Taylor Swift, I know Taylor Swift, and maybe even Sabrina Carpenter, it's just like, that is so strange. Everything about the New Testament, it reinforces the meek and weak nature of modern Christianity, cucking it all the traits the Christian need to compete. But not all. I don't know if everything does. I mean, you do have Jesus turn over stuff in the tabernacle, whipping motherfuckers, right? I do. I can grant you this, and this is something I do agree on. The New Testament is used. How do I say this? They definitely do use the New Testament in a perverse way in order to uh, create the cucked Christian, the cucked. I mean, they use in a way. They use the Bible in a way. They use the Bible and the whole Bible, but there's definitely an emphasis on using things from the New Testament to create that cucked, not really a Christian, not really a the church down the street will have a rainbow flag in June, right? Uh, that fake, and then there's also that fake church culture that's weird. Speaking of which, I think one of those big church artists, what's the guy, Forrest Frank, something like Frank Forrest, something like that. He's not from too far from here. Speaking of fake religious stuff, I think he's from like a half hour away or so. What? Because I remember seeing him being linked to Texas in one of these cities that are too far away outside of the Houston area. Uh, Schofield Bible. I think I've heard of it. I'm not immediately familiar with it. Wait, now that's one of the great questions on earth because the Library of Alexandria got destroyed. The only thing close to that in modern existence is in Vatican City. We're allowed to know about that. I want to know what's sitting under the Vatican. That's the $100 trillion question. Giselle's father is responsible like that. Yeah, be more like Jesus. Let us murder you. But I think that's a misinterpretation of what Jesus' example was supposed to be, because even he said, what was oh goodness, I'm so bad with the actual quote, but it was the law hasn't changed, things haven't changed, like you're still supposed to follow the statutes and commandments, things haven't changed, and you're like, I don't think we're just supposed to just all be, we're not supposed to be just like, oh, this is just lambs to the slaughter, right? We're supposed to be vigilant, be sober minded, be active. Um, you know, disciples carried swords, so like it. I don't necessarily think we're supposed. That's the interpretation. Is just just be a bitch and just let everything happen and just give to the collection plate. Give to the mega church and be a hoe. Like I don't think that's what we were supposed to do, but that's definitely what they use. Don't forget, British Library's up there too. Largest in the world, has a lot of old docs. Who knows what's in some of this stuff? Definitely think it's a misinterpretation. I just think we spent more than a century in one specific group. There, it's a coincidence. Though, with that said, I will say this. I think even the push, and you know what, there was a commercial about that specific group. I think we're not just having a great noticing, right? There's definitely a push by that same group, and would that group allow members of itself to suffer and for its own purpose? I don't know. You tell me what you think about World War II. Um, and you tell me how many times this group has not been on both sides of a modern war. So you tell me. But there's definitely a push for, dare I say, the quote unquote anti-Semitism that they're telling you to not do in these Super Bowl commercials. It's not a coincidence that you see so much on social media now, and you see people making these connections on social media. That's not a coincidence. And so, I mean, it's definitely a part of their plan. I've heard different interpretations of what that plan may or may not be. But the push for, and I'm trying to talk around to some extent for two reasons. One, again, like I don't, especially I grew up in a part of my life in Southfield, Michigan. Shout out to the people who obey the Sabbath. Do I think that the fucking guy I went to middle school with is you know what I mean, part of some cabal? No, right? So obviously, I mean, shit, maybe he is, I don't know, but like, because shit, I'm sure I went to school, motherfuckers went to Freemasonry, so like I said, like none of who the fuck knows, right? But There's a huge basin. And I lived in Charlotte and Detroit. There's like a lot of bases in both cities. I'm sure there's bases here in Texas. But man, like Charlotte, there was a ton of those fuckers. They were everywhere. And there was a lot of them, decent amount of them in Detroit. And Shriners and shit. So I mean, who knows, right? And I know that we're not talking about the bases, we're talking about a different group, was a coincidence. But even of that group, right? Like everybody involved is not involved, right? Everybody who's of that group is not involved. I understand that. So it's like, okay, I know, I'd also feel a little bit lazy. Like, oh man, Jews, everything is their fault. It's just, while there's definitely a reality to a lot of the ownership of the banking system and a lot of ownership of the media and of different things. Uh, and I have no issue talking about it. But if there's a reason, like, damn, why don't you just say it, man? It's like, well, that's why. It's like it's not. There's a bit of laziness in it. Not that I'm saying it's untrue. I mean, the truth is the truth. And I don't want to confuse the everyday random person with, fucking Epstein and Maxwell and the Epsteins and Maxwells we don't know about. He's just a guy. He's just one of, and he certainly was the only one. And this web of the Epstein situation is certainly just one of many. Uh, and that's a crazy fact, Cotton, that Robert Maxwell is responsible for every single textbook ever read in school. At what point, and this is, I have another point to make, and shout out to William Cooper, and shout out to everybody who, you know, wants us. Why aren't we in the streets tearing everything apart? Why are we just so dismissive? And oh, we've been beat down, normalized. Let's talk about some realities. One, a lot of people got murdered. Isaac Happy happened. Isaac Happy happened. Seth Rich happened. These things happen. People have got fucking murdered. Two, if there was a societal pushback on anything, it would be the school system. The school, and I'm not even just talking about the past 15, 20 years where you have the push of the LGBTQ, the rise of sexual assault, which that's not new, but we see it's much more visible, all the sexual assaults of the school system, the ineffectiveness of the school system, even when we talk about how academia has been ineffective in creating uh, anything, whether it's well-rounded individuals, employable individuals, with all the issues the school system. That's just, I mean, you can maybe go back a little further with that. The removal of practical skills, the removal of all that. But you've never seen a mass protest on public education. You rarely see small localized protests on individual school systems or schools. And schools have been something ineffective for 100 years, and we still send our kids to school. We never fight back. We never push back. We never do anything. And I know, hey, it's easy for you to say, Vigilante, you're fucking incel king, so you don't got no fucking kids, and you don't know the stress of having to work and having to take care of the kids, and they gotta do something. They gotta go somewhere. It's too hard to homeschool them. Uh, and you know what? It may be, but we got to do better because the public education system is the most obvious scam that we all accept and we all give our kids to. They're not safe. If they're not getting shot at by some fucking psyop motherfucker, they're getting touched on by one of these fucking weird perverts. And even if they're not learning any goddamn thing but 6-7 and other brain rot bullshit. And now we're at a point where they just use ChatGPT for everything. And we've yet to reform the school system. The most reformable system ever, because there's parent-teacher conferences, there's school boards, there's all that. And we can't get the gay BCs out of our school system. So how the fuck are we going to combat the United States government? How the fuck or we're going to combat the New World Order. And why is that even a standard for the average person who's been butt fucked out of this world by the debasement of currency, the debasement of culture, and is barely fucking hanging on? How the fuck are they supposed to? What are they going to do? You want motherfuckers to just get picked off on the fucking lawn, especially when they do psyops like the fucking January 6th situation, which is, they simulate what I guess the lazy conspiracy theorists who want to talk shit behind their keyboards want us to do. But I mean, that was only because they let motherfuckers in. And I was, long term to bolster some security to make sure an event like that never happened in real life. But shit, if we got, 10 million people to storm the castle, we get fucked up, man. I hate to break it to people. I know a lot of people. I'm pro 2A. If they use the shit they got behind those doors, we don't stand a fucking chance. That's just the reality. And I hate to break it to people. I'm not trying to be a pessimist. I'm being a realist. I'm being a realist. Now, could we have more public shaming of really powerful people? I mean, maybe. But again, if motherfuckers can't even take themselves, they own children, own flesh and blood out of a obviously corrupt school system, or combat an obviously corrupt school system that doesn't provide anything to their children, it is a massive blow to the taxes. As I'm finding out, trying to own a home, seeing how much of your taxes goes to the local schools. It's like, if that can't happen, how the fuck are we gonna combat this shit? Uh, so yeah. And just a coincidence. Sorry about that, Ray. Let me try to catch up. Exactly, just a coincidence. Recently read a lot of interesting historical accounts that suggest the library of Alexandria was stolen, and the building's destruction was to hide this theft, which in a in a way would kind of be a positive, because at least that information is available on some level still. The Austrian painter had a point. I think the Austria, I hate to break it to a lot of people who, shout out to my man Richard, he's big. I don't know if he's here yet. Behind the comments. I think he was controlled ops. I know nobody wants to hear that. Whether or not he had a point or not, whether or not, and I'm not trying to, I think he was controlled ops at best. So, not, and that's not to negate any point he did or didn't have, or to encourage any point he did or didn't have. I'm not Kanye, but I definitely think he was, you know, I definitely think he was as I think most major figures on some level are a part of the system that we've seen, in most major figures in the past 300 to 500 years, if not longer than that, have to go through the system or a part of the system. It says Weimar America. That's what it's looking like. Speaking of that region of the planet, I have new play toy on Twitter. Is that a sex thing? Antiseptic. That's what we're saying. Okay, I only have more questions. All right, you're still Papa Cotton on Twitter, so you can follow on Twitter. Da, 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 da. I know you. I don't know you. You don't know that I'm not Kanye. You haven't seen me without a mask. I mean, I have a little more weight. Because I don't. I don't hate all of them. I hate the people in power. Um, I hate. I definitely hate the people in power, but I don't hate the. I just hate the powerful people. And listen, I hate there's powerful people that are not of that background, and I hate them too. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of powerful people who are not in that background, and they're worthy of hate. So nah, could be wearing I could be wearing a fat suit. And I'm not always on. I'm not on screen now, so could be. But I mean, come on, me and Kanye ain't the same complexion, and you can see part of my face through the mask when I do wear it, so you can see. I say that I don't know when I was walking more, which I need to get back into. I've got back into the gym, but I gotta get back into walking. It's gonna. I did get kind of dark by the sun. So I don't know. Yeah, that's not how complexion works, though. Like, that's why black and white aren't even great descriptors. Like, we're not, I'm not actually black. Like, I'm brown. I'm brown to beige. I can get dark brown. Sometimes I can be light beigeish yellow. There's yeah, and a lot of Caucasian people are kind of a beigeish, reddish. I mean, I don't fucking know. I mean, if they're gonna make me choose a side, who's gonna make you choose a side between what? What sides are there to choose? What sides are there to choose? Going back to the Matrix, there's the illusion of choice, right? Kind of sand colored. If you criticize Israel or Jews means deep seated hatred, that they're pushing both sides of that. Like I said, you have this when you're seeing all these sort of memes and all these sort of reels that are definitely designed to make you feel a certain type of way about this group, and at the same time, don't bully them. And if you say anything wrong about them, or you're actually, what's the term, antiseptic, uh, but that's that doing that's you play both sides again. As above, so below, as they would say. Um, and that's the interesting thing about all these practices. I think some of it coincides with that Talmud or whatever, but a lot of this stuff goes back, back to, and not to be a Yakubian, but it just goes back to Kemet in Egypt, pre Egypt, um, and whatever. Uh, People have talked about how the pyramids and a lot of those structures are way older than Egypt. It goes back to that time. It go really, if you want to go back to the Bible, it goes back to the antediluvian or pre-flood world. A lot of this stuff a lot of these practices, a lot of the stuff they believe, and a lot. So I guess that's another reason I'm not so keen to just the juice. It's like, well, these things are predate the whole concept in a way. Uh, Overplayed their hand on this one. But they're definitely trying to push. This they're trying to this grand noticing, quote unquote. They definitely want you to push that. Listen, I've heard that there's supposed to be a war, it's supposed to be them against the world, and there definitely is a push to create that situation. You can call it Nazi so many years by the left, think you can weather it for the right. Boys, the right going out sad. The right's going out sad, man. Going back to the Super Bowl. Listen, I don't have a Bad Bunny tattoo. I'm sure there was a cultic shit in the show, and you got to reference this, and I'm sure, right? I saw something like, oh, he's falling through. He's like Lucifer. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm cool about all the symbolism, whatever. The symbolism and everything, cool. But I'm not understand. I thought some of the songs are cool, whatever. The idea of getting your panties in a bunch and clutching pearls over the Super Bowl halftime show being Bad Bunny is so unadulteratedly gay. I don't know what to say. It would be less gay if you just kissed a man. And speaking of homosexuality in the Republican Party, there's a reason that Grindr shuts down, and I don't know if that's a thing that they just do to troll or if that's genuine, but that is a thing, right? Where when there's a big Republican convention, whether it's Turning Point or some of these Trump rallies or some of these, some of the RNCs that have happened, and Grindr, which is a gay dating app, apparently gets so much volume and so much activity into one space that the servers get strained. I don't know if that's like a true thing or a troll thing, but when you see this, like perpetually offended. It's the same thing to the left. Like everything's offensive. It's like, okay, man. It's just there's where we live in a world. Who cares about the fucking halftime show? I miss when they used to counter program it. I miss when you used to watch the Puppy Bowl or halftime heat or fucking Nickelodeon would have a half. Whoever the fuck. Well, hey, it's halftime. Let's do something else. It's weird. It's weird some of the things that have got like mass cultural attention. We used to like kind of shit on uh the halftime show. That's part of the. I think that was part of the reason that the titty event happened. If you guys remember back in the day, halftime show was. You had the Michael Jackson one. You had a few attempts to make the halftime show bigger, but some of them failed. Any given, they weren't successful every single year. And then over the past 10 or 15 years, it's just become this big thing where everybody's like, I don't give a shit. I mean, so I saw some clips of that Kid Rock thing. That did not look sad. And I mean, come on, who the fuck? As shout out to Romeo, Michigan and everything. Shout out to Mount Clemens. Shout out to early Kid Rock. But like, what is this? This is just that was and that in general. I'm so sick of the right just being offended by every goddamn thing. Jesus Christ. Calm down. Yeah, that's what I mean. Uh, I mean the fucking left. I mean, the leftists are quits. I'm sick of this ice shit. I don't care. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I'm not gonna act like I give a fuck. And no, I have not watched Modern Country Video. Thank goodness. All the way it can be gay if they blow on the screen. Like, what happened? What happened? Like, stop being so gay. Stop being so offended. They're just as bad as leftists. Like, always, everything's offensive. Oh my god, who cares? Everything's it's divisive. I'm sick of everything. Can't be political. It's not. Why is everything political? Everybody fucking insider trades. All these people fuck kids. It's one big demonic group. What the fuck are we? Why are we still picking sides? This right versus left shit. It's two wings of the same fucking demon. Fuck this. Jesus Christ. We're all gonna die. We'll all be dead in 50 years anyway, 100 years anyway. Life's too short for this shit. It's too fucking short. Fuck this ice shit. I don't care. I don't care. I like Minnesota because of Prince. I don't want. I would like. If it was up to me, I want the least amount of loss, the least amount of loss of life and loss of quality life for the most amount of people involved, and I want everything to just work out magically. But I don't give a shit, man. I can't. Life is short. I'm gonna die in 50 years, so I got to figure this shit out, or 100 years, whatever, 80, 60, I don't know. But I gotta figure this out. Left is pissed about Green Day not saying something about Ice. Who cares? Let them just fucking perform. And Lord knows Green Day have been a preachy asshole, man. I don't want to hear them say shit. Play these mid songs I used to like back in the day and get the fuck off stage. Emeru is getting mobbed for Milk Toast Ice comments. I don't know who Emeru is. The kind of program is ridiculous. Fitzride.com. Fitzrider. I don't ride the fence. Fuck both sides. They can both suck my dick. I wish the actual political structure, all negativity and pain and hatred. And hope everyone dies. That's actually not like the people that unfortunately fall them. I feel bad for the sheeple that they're so gay and brainwashed. But as far as like the actual like members of the Republican and Democratic Party, I wish them all the worst. Sheep will sheep. That's true. Kind of. Did I watch the Millennium movie? What is that? I didn't know of it. Is that a thing? Yes. I don't even know what it is. The vision helps criminal politicians get away with their crime. Absolutely, it does. One of the leading causes of criminal politicians being able to do whatever the fuck they want and talking. They're so desperate to get people to stop talking about the emails prove they were doing family shit. The kids, evil shit. The kids, they're releasing. They got Elon posting a crazy about building a moon base, releasing alien documents. I've heard that there's some talk about some alien shit. I've heard a little bit of that being a thing. And I also heard that Elon was quote unquote willing to pay the legal fees of anybody who would protest or anyone who've been hurt by Epstein. I would not, if somebody is, I wouldn't fall for that. I think that's just a good way to get a list of people to burn. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened to the link. I can't play links on this when I'm going through. I'm just streaming on my phone. Just search Millennium Trailer. Okay, I'll check it out. I get, or I may not. I don't know. I don't want to. I don't want to promise something. It just seems like something I'm not gonna have the most interest in. Otherwise, YouTube truncate. Oh well. Oh well. Haven't watched it. I see. I'm sick of the damn Trump thing. I can't just wait for this shit to this era of political discourse and social and societal discourse and then just the I can't wait for this to end. And maybe it's only gonna get worse. I don't know what they do after Trump. Like what does life look like after Trump is gone? Can see a test for free on Google. I don't need to watch a whole movie or access terrible. In 3 or 4 years, or maybe that's the goal. Maybe he doesn't leave. Because I'm like, how are they going to get this much emotion from such a ridiculous and stupid concept like politics? Something that had previously garnered such little emotion from the masses, but that has now become a part of everyone's identity. I'm exaggerating, thank the Most High, but literally hundreds of millions of people mark at least some of their identity to politics. And I'm not trying to say this for some elevated purpose as if I am not or I was not one of them. But it's like, okay, when that's only been possible because of I would say because of Trump's charisma, negative or positive, whatever you feel about him, he's been able to be the main character in politics for 12 years. Well, once he's out of presidential power, what next? Like how I don't know how you get people riled. Like how do you continue the culture war without Trump? I mean, because I honestly, yes, there was always some sort of culture war, but to get everybody as a participant or as many people as a participant as you got, you needed that character to be that divisive and that influential for that long. I mean, I'm literally watching. Well, I'm not watching, but I watch YouTube. Watch too much YouTube, like everybody else, whatever. And they'll show fucking political ads, and both sides are using Trump. It's like, oh, this Republican they're with Trump on the border, and they're tough on and they're a part of they're the part of MAGA and Trump. And then it's no, this Democrat, they stood up to Trump and they did it's all about Trump. He's still the main character, regardless of your Republican or Democrats. He's the main character. And once this character is retired, however they retire it, I don't see how they keep it going. Uh, I just don't. OG Lord Dolph. Good morning. Triple OG Lord Dolph. Long time no see. Appreciate you being here. This season, America has been garbage. It only gets worse from here. I mean, they have to move into some authoritarian. Like, I don't see how they can. Especially, there's going to be a burnout too. I was talking about sports earlier, right? I mean, the NBA had a huge issue when Jordan left. I think the NBA is going to have a huger issue when LeBron and Curry leave for myriad of reasons, which I've talked about some. But there is that, when you have that most charismatic character, whatever we're talking about. You can talk about they from pro wrestling, the TV shows, the sports, and instead we're talking about politics. But when the kid, they talk about how the Walking, what's the guy? I don't even watch The Walking Dead, but even I know, the one character gets killed, and then the show starts to take as far as ratings. So like, what happens when that character's gone? Like, how do you get everybody? Like, you have to all the NWO will have to be ready to run after that, because that's it. Like, there's no way you're going to get America to care about to you're not going to get all of America to worship one person like this again. And I am counting all of his detractors as worshipers. That's worship in reverse. It's inverted worship. I'm counting the left as worshipers as well. So I'm not just counting the MAGA. Got a that "Make America Great" tattooed on their balls. They're not the only ones I'm counting as worshipers. Every blue haired weirdo who put pronouns in their bio because they thought it would piss off the right people. They are in as much of worship as Trump as his supporters. And I don't know how they move the needle without a guy like that long term. But we'll see. We will see. Next president's gonna be worse no matter who it is. I kind of agree. I don't know how. I'm not. Uh, and you guys can tell me if it's other people, because I'm not keeping my ear to the ground on it. But my guess is it's between Gruesome Newsom and Gay Vance. Is that what we're going to run in a couple of years? And I mean, I don't. I'd rather not have either of them. But if that's what they're running, I mean, it's their TV show. It's the Truman Show. What do you want us to do? Everybody chill. The Fed's here. Oh, who's the Fed? Well, I guess, right. You're fucking mounted police, right? It's been a while, Lord Dolph. I'm not sure if you still are. I was like, what? No matter who you voted for, you get John McCain, Jimmy Dore. Trump was a great choice for the story arc. I guess Vance is the next guy. I guess it's not. I don't see it. I don't see it working with him. But I say that a lot of people have fallen for this Erica Kirk thing. Maybe if he divorces his wife and dates her, maybe that I don't know. A lot of people are into this weird thing. I see the salute by Lord Thoth. Who's going to call? Who's the Cali governor to run? Yeah, that's what I mean. Gruesome Newsom. Gavin Newsom is the California governor. So maybe that is seems what they're running. Gay Vance versus Gruesome Newsom. Biden was running the White House for 8 years. Barry's running the White House for 8 years. Of Biden, was it 8 years? I thought it was only 4. Uh, but no reason that Trump's actually leaves. I mean, people who are voting for Gady are voting for him. And yeah, working and listening. Good to see you. It's dope to see you. Presidents don't actually run shit. No, that's not. You're right. But when you talk about this president, his character has been such his cult of personality and character has been such a part of the narrative. It's like it's been. I've never seen anything like this. There's never been, not in my lifetime. I mean, I didn't wouldn't alive for JFK. I wouldn't alive for anyone. Before that, I was born in '87 again. But I mean, I've never seen anything like this, where this person cracks through everyone on earth has an opinion on this guy. Everyone on earth has an emotional attachment or reaction to him, and that's hard to do. Even for evil, global, super powerful, deaf cult cabal with all the resources they have, I don't know if they can ever hit a home run like this again. Even with all the internet and all the technology and all the resources they have to manipulate people, uh, it's going to be hard to get somebody that has that innate uh charisma. I don't even know if that's the right word, but that's the for lack of a better term, to get so many people riled up. I don't know how you could do it. I don't know how you could go. Uh, if you put Newsom in that place, it won't be the same. You put Gay Vance, you put whoever you put, Gail C. I just don't see it being the same. Um, they can't generate that emotion. The amount of emotion he generates, it's like I just have never seen anything like this. Never in my life. Never in my life. I just don't see how they can do it again. You know what I mean? Uh, the craziest thing is that we could actually get a President Newsom. They've pretty much sealed the elections. I see. Miriam Adelson, I'm not familiar with them, is the president now. I don't know if that was just a name you just came up with. No such thing as bad publicity. Pepe and Rossini. And Thoth is a Malti. Shout out to the Malta police for shout out to Canada. And Biden was 4 years. It felt like 8. Yeah, it did. Uh, Shout out to Canada again. Facts what? That's true. But that's the real problem. Vig, now that the tech exists and they can generate all of those things with AI and bots, that's true. You know what? That's an underrated thing. And that's something I have not, and I sometimes forget to give all the credit and all the weight it deserves. And I think I was just talking about with Bro Gelati about that dead internet theory is serious. Dead internet theory is serious in these streets because the bots have so much impact over so much. I mean, the music industry is still dependent on bots. The whole podcast industry, a lot of these industries, a lot of entertainment industry as we know it is dependent on the internet, and a lot of that traffic becomes popular is based on bots. Whether they buy the bots, whether it's the house bots of the house platforms, whatever. And politics is also a part of it. And so now, only God knows if you're arguing with a real person on Instagram or Twitter or whatever the fuck platform you're in the comments or messages or whatever the fuck you're doing, TikTok, YouTube, whatever, fake book, nextdoor.com, shit, whatever the fuck you're on, uh, there's a lot of fake people. And there's enough fake people for you to believe that public opinion is something that it absolutely isn't. And we're already past that point. So that's a good follow up. If you can't generate somebody who really generates that emotion, just fake the emotion. AFC's a few years down the line, you're probably right on that. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing you said way down, and I thought she was pretty cute, especially you see the younger version. Some people get uppity. I listen, man. I'm not Mister. I wish I lived life to not consider AOC cute. Where it's like, she's mid. I haven't been smashing models like that. So IRL, I take AOC. Shit, I went to the gym earlier to get my membership situated, which that was kind of a shit show in and of itself. But the 28-year-old girl said I was. She didn't really realize I was 38, and I was happy for that, man. And she was just a mid Latina, but I'll take it. I'll take a mid Latina. What the fuck? Who the fuck am I? I'm not fucking Fabio. Like the fuck? Shit. I'm in no position. I'm in no position to big time the mid Latina. So that said, yeah, she is starting to boil up. Because that's what happens when you enter that demonic ass political world. You start to age up. I feel like they missed AOC's opportunity. I guess they're still using her as a character, so she will whenever they do run her, she'll have fans that grew up as fans of hers. So I don't want to underrate that. And maybe I'm just thinking too much of an old head sex sale sort of thing. But I would have thought run her when she's younger so you can maximize her attractiveness. Or maybe it's just a matter of her having to just do better so she ages a little bit better. But yeah, she's starting to abuela up, and no disrespect, I'm starting to get abuela age, but still, I mean, we just be honest. She's got a is I don't want to guess. She's just got I'm hitting the gym. I'm hitting the gym. She needs to just hit the gym. There's trainers. Because you start doing the unnatural thing. You don't want to hit the whole Ozempic. That looks fucking crazy. Then you end up like the fucking wicked bitches. You don't want to do that. You don't want to hit the Ozempic. You don't want to hit the plastic surgery. Because then you just look fucking crazy. So you're just gonna have to eat better, man. Like I don't know, there ain't no way around it, man. You're gonna just have to, you know, shit. Get into the juices. Get into maybe get on the carnivore diet. I don't know, but she's gonna have to just age better. Shit, maybe she needs more chrome. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna have to happen. Or they're just gonna have to just totally say fuck it. We you can't use her attractiveness as an advantage anymore. I say that it was motherfuckers wanting to fuck the last bitch they ran. So maybe I'm underrating the goonery of the world. What was the bitch name? Kamala. It's people who wanted to fuck her. So who knows? It's Trump's biggest contributor. 200 million plus straight in Trump's pocket. Fair enough. Shout out to Canada again. It's real YouTube causing the aversion. It doesn't know how to solve it. The algorithm tracks more and more human traffic as bots and vice versa. Systems are blocking humans and letting bots through. I can believe that, unfortunately. Unfortunately, shout out to you said guinea pig. I think I remember which one. Shout out to Tommy. A guinea pig once told me never trust a suit, and I think he was right. I think you're all right, but yeah, you're seeing version. I hadn't heard that term in relative to this, but yeah, that they're actually blocking humans and letting more bot traffic. For a politician, she's a 10. For a bartender, she's a 4. AOC is kind of the Brie Larson argument. He is kind of, yeah. Where it's like, okay, we're talking shit, but like, she cracked that shit open in front of you. You're smashing, bro. She busted wide open. You would do it. But see, that's the thing. She was for a bartender like a 6.5, 7. And now it's like, ugh. You know what I mean? Like you said, for a bartender, she's a 4. She used to be a 6.5 at least. And so that's like, that's those not only is it 2.5 points, it's a crucial 2.5 points. And there is something for the politician scale. Because you remember that bitch? Oh, what was that bitch back in the day? Sarah Palin. People wanted to fuck her. A lot of these political bitches be mid as fuck. People be lining up to fuck. There was some other political hoe somebody was trying to convince us. I forgot who it was. Someone was trying to convince us she was cute. Like this old mid bitch. Just like remember Tulsi Gabbard. She's still around. I think she is. It's like this old mid bitch. Go to the grocery store. You'll find. Go to the grocery store. You'll find a bitch that looks just as good. Shit. Go anywhere on earth. Go to the gas station. You'll find a bitch. Go to 7-Eleven right now. You know what I'm saying? You'll find a bitch cuter than Tulsi Gabbard. I promise you. I promise you. Any gas station. It doesn't matter. Like shit. Because she's not all that, man. Again, I mean, maybe you get a Brie Larson argument, but like even then, it's still like now we're starting to stretch it a bit. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying I'm who the fuck am I? But I'm saying like motherfuckers were gassing up Tulsi Gabbard like this was like some fucking model bitch. It's like, come on, bro. She's a cute enough girl, but it's not like I would this motherfuckers acting like they would do anything for some Tulsi Gabbard pussy. It's like, come on, guy. It's not like hey, listen, I get if you're not getting that the getting's good if you're getting, but it's like, come on, man. I'm not knocking you for finding her attractive, but it's like I'm knocking you for like overdoing it. There's levels to this shit. Said Fabio ain't Fabio after that duck smashed his face. Fair enough. But you know what I mean. I don't know what these hoes want. Well, no, well, apparently these hoes want to milk centaurs nowadays, or centaurs or minotaurs or whatever the fuck they were milking in that one weird ass book we came across, which is a whole wave. Going back to them not wanting to market the male gays, could have had ALC versus Bober back in 2016. The base of bikinis, bull wrestlers, but now we got a billionaire versus a demon. That'd have been interesting. Oh yeah, Bober, that's another one. Again, man, go to a gas station, man. And again, I'm not saying that I am not saying any of these girls are not cute. I'm not saying I would not smash any of these girls. These not that's not what I'm saying when it comes to ALC, Bobert, all these goofy hoes, Tulsi, whatever, right? That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like, bro, that they're they're not all that. That's all I'm saying. Kamala was never pretty, but she was. Listen, you talk about '90s Kamala. There were people, a lot of them Zoomers, a lot of younger dudes. I know, I get it. I was the young dude, and I regretted fucking these old hoes. Some people do like to fuck the old hoes. I would never suggest that to the youth. I would never put down the youth. I regret it. Yep, Montel Williams was smashing Kamala. But like, it's people who wanted to fuck the Kamala that's walking down the street right now, like that one. Not the '90s one, the current one. People was trying to fuck. I guess that's just the kind of said it. For a politician, politician scale. You know what I mean? You know how they say like Iowa hot versus New York hot versus what I mean? They try to make it's a difference being in a small town as opposed to a large city. I mean, but the political thing, it's like, I mean, shit. I don't even think these political bitches are Iowa hot, bro. I just think they just, they're office hot, where it's like, oh man, if you're around them every day, and it's like that's all you're around because you're a man and they're a woman and they're moderately enough attractive, you're like, oh, cool. But under any other circumstance, it's like it's just a bitch. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know, maybe Houston because there's so many shots to the big booty Latina club. But even the black and white chicks here, it's just like you just find most girls. Listen, most people are mid. If we're just being honest, most people are mid, and all those bitches are mid. There's no shame in mid. There's not bashing mid. It doesn't mean you wouldn't smash or love or marry or whatever mid. We're just mid. It's okay to be mid. All these political bitches are mid. There's no shame in that. Doesn't mean I wouldn't still want to fuck some of them or one of them or whatever. But motherfuckers be gassing these hoes. We gotta stop. Can we leave that in 2025 in general? I don't even care if it's politics. I don't care if it's movies. If you see a pretty girl, you can appreciate her. Hey, yeah, she's cute. But stop gassing these pretty hoes up. These pretty hoes think they can walk through water, walk on water, and they shit don't stink as is. And you're gassing up these fucking fives, these fucking 5.5s, five and a halves, and these baby. You keep gassing up these adjustable fours, adjustable sixes, because they're in the political sphere. And it's like, oh, for politics, yeah, but fuck that, no. But it's not just that. We gas them up in regular life. Stop gassing up these adjustable fours, man. I'm not knocking a girl for being adjustable 4. I'm probably a 0. That's not the point. The point is just let the 4 be a fucking 4 and just live her 4 ass life. Shit. We gotta stop gassing up hoes. You want to talk about? There's a lot of contributors to the birth rate. A lot of evil shit that's going on in the podcast world, the algorithm, uh, cost of living, economics, uh, culture, and all this shit. But one of the many contributors, one of the few that we have some control over, is gassing these hoes up. I was there when MySpace turned all the mid bitches into what we would now call baddies overnight. Where all these bitches who had lived a life of midness and were happy just to have men like them overnight got way too much attention. It was like the next day they had a DM, and now everybody that who had internet access was in the DMs with dick pics, ready to promise them the world. And it's like this too. And it's like now she thinks she's a 10. And that's gone on now 20 years. And it's gotta stop. It's gotta stop. It's not good for us as men. It's not good for the women. Because they end up ruining their own lives. That's how you end up with these dumb hoes who throw away their marriage after a one night stand. Because some random would smash, but that's it. Like he's not gonna fucking give a shit about her. And she's too fucking stupid to understand it. So she throws away her marriage with some 36-year-old bitch, throws away his marriage with two kids for some broccoli haired penis, and and she doesn't even understand what the fuck she's doing. Because we gas these men bitches up. They think they can get more than what they really can. And now nobody's coupled up, everybody's fucked. Think of all the bartenders. I think, but what I'm saying is, when she was a little younger, and I get it, because a lot of female bartenders, waitresses, that whole thing, they tend to be on the cuter side, right? Because they got to get tips. I maintain young college, the one college video where she's dancing on the rooftop, that she's about a 6.5. Maybe I'm partial for her with all the shit I'm talking. The one picking her at 19, I don't know if I saw that. Some dude holding the full Nelson. I don't know if I see that. I don't know if I saw that one. There's two-hour porn parodies of Sarah Palin. Maybe there is a Texas thing, man. There's a lot of big booty bitches in Texas, man. Maybe that is. I don't know. Maybe I lived in Charlotte. There was still some cute girls. I don't. I say that I did feel something different when I went back to Charlotte recently last year, and I did notice a flatness. So maybe I am biased because of Texas. I did notice a flatness. You're right. Most politicians are corpses. She's a 10 around that bunch. Tulsi Gabbard's kind of attractive, but her secret villain energy. There were motherfuckers willing to die for some Tulsi Gabbard Badusi a few years ago. Dying that rogue stripe was cringe. Oh yeah, she should have kept it. That was the one. That was the one thing making her hot. That was the one thing making her hot. The rogue, I like to call it the rogue stripe, but it is that gray stripe. That was the hottest part about her. I kind of I liked it too. It was too close to watch the Seinfeld chick was doing her with the character. Are we talking about what's the chick? I did used to think she was cute, a little cuter back in the day. The bitch that played was it Elaine for Seinfeld? I always thought it was weird that nobody was smashing her. That she just had 3 male friends and she was just there, and then nobody was smashing her. I always thought that was weird. I always felt that was unrealistic. It's just it took me out of some of the Seinfeld. Shout out to 1738 Seinfeld. He like him young. But it always took me out like, wait, nobody's fucking her. Like again, I know it's almost the opposite of what I said, what I mean? But it's like, okay, I get this. She's not a model, but like nobody's gonna hit this. She's just gonna leave this all you loser ass dudes is gonna leave this perfectly good pussy just around. Like what the fuck? That doesn't make any sense either. Like the fuck. uh what does it say about the American society that there's even a conversation about whether or not these hoes are hot? Like what have we done to our size? We fucked it up. That's what we've done. We fucked it up. We all got addicted to fucking porn. And we're just happy to see any pussy nowadays. Like we just, you know what I'm saying? We all became fucking gooners, and now we're willing to fuck anything. So that's what it is. The 19th was one of our greatest failures. Yeah, it was. And simply for politicians, why we should repeal the 19th, absolutely. I think the guys in Manosphere creates by design, absolutely. Pushing young men away from real masculinity. I agree with that. I'm so sick of these bald headed weirdos. These fucking old ass incels with fucking motorcycles and cigars. It's like, go fuck yourself, dude. Yes, you're right. You can't blame them. You're right. You can't blame these hoes. It's all our fault. Even like I said, the threes that overnight thought they were tens. Why? Who the fuck told us? Who told every dude to hop in some mid bitches MySpace ass back in the day, or hop in some mid bitches DMs now, or MySpace DMs, or whatever the fuck they call it? Who told us? I don't know why I said ad. That was just a weird slip. But who told us to go hop in these hoes DMs and gas these hoes? That was our decision. This is all men's decision. We just said let's just gas this mid bitch. That's why you got 500-pound hoes thinking they're cute. Like, bitch, you're 500 pounds. You're gonna fucking die. You know what I'm saying? There are 500-pound hoes that think they're cute. And a lot of everybody want to blame black dudes. I remember I was did we do this on Culture Crime Fighters? Or was it so okay, shout out to Matt. A lot of times you hang out so much, and sometimes like after a show you'll talk shit and do shit that I can't remember if we did this on air or if we did this off air after a show or before a show. But there is a point where me or Matt are looking at these super big bitches comments, right? And because I was on the kick, like, black dudes got to stop. We got to stop this fat chick shit. This shit got to stop. I like some thick girls. I ain't talking about thick. I'm talking about big bitches. I'm talking about 3 bills plus. That's got to stop. That can't be a thing. But anyways, while we were going through the bitches' comments, it wasn't just brothers. It wasn't just us. It was motherfuckers whose fleece was white as snow telling these big bitches they were beautiful. Just the same. So it's not just us, because I know how y'all are in the comments. It's not just us. It was motherfucking Snow White telling these 400, 500, 600-pound bitches they were beautiful. It's got to stop. It's got to fucking stop. And no shame on those women. I hope they can lose weight, get into shape, get their health right. I'm not trying to knock these big bitches. I'm saying we cannot be telling these hoes they're beautiful. They're not. We got to stop the thirst. Male thirst has created so much damage. You talk about the 19th. Could it have ever happened without male thirst? Until men collectively get control of their thirst, I mean, these hoes should do whatever the fuck they want. Keep doing it. Because we got to control our thirst. So if we could collectively control our thirst and control our lust, the shit wouldn't be happening. So yeah, you can't blame the women. It's absolutely our fault. As Wade now says. Weak men, hard times. It's too many hard men who are weak. Pause. This whole conversation reminds me of how sad Bill Burr become. shit. Everyone says white women are the worst, but Nia has destroyed Bill's testosterone. Hey, Bo. Jerry Smasher. Did he? I think you're right. I think you're right. I think it did happen in the story at one point, but it still was just like kind of weird. Like, I don't know, but I think you're right. That at one point it did happen. But you know what? I haven't watched Seinfeld in a while. I think I got a couple of the seasons on DVD. Be cool to check out. That's why they introduced Putty. The man, story, Bill Burr is pretty tragic. Uh, I'm trying to think of what I think of. I still have a appreciation for a lot of, especially what Bill Burr was at his peak comedically. Um, do I think he's a sellout? Yes. I don't necessarily hate him for it, just like I don't hate a Rogan for it, right? But I do. Uh, and that's not even counting the whatever was that fucking Saudi thing. I actually thought that was a little overblown. A lot of criticism of that, but whatever. Um, but at the same time, I also like, and again, I'm not following everything that Bill Burr says, and I'm not necessarily agreeing with every single take. Um, I don't hate him either. You know what I mean? Uh, Cause you know what, I'm getting older too, and I don't feel like even I'm the same as when this fucking channel started, right? Like, and I don't even have a bitch to soften me up. I'm just getting softer just with age. You know what I mean? Like, so, and I don't know. Yeah, Bill. I guess what I'm, sometimes Bill Burr can still give a take that I agree with or like. Even though I wouldn't say I agree with or like most of his takes or most of what he talks about, it does still happen. So I'm not totally as out on him as maybe other people is. Maybe that's what I'm trying to say. Uh, but I get the sentiment. I'm a bald white guy. Isn't that weird that you have to censor the word white? Who wears aviator glasses all day, though living in Southeast Asia? Wait, shit. I think black dudes liking fat chicks was a psyop. Like white girls chasing black guys, social engineering. I wish it was a psyop. There was something to it, man. But I don't know if the psyop's working with the new generation. There was listen, white or black or nothing. The and I'm not gonna shit on Gen X, but I might shit on it a little bit. Gen X, from as a millennial, I remember the older generation basically being ungodly thirsty, and teaching us that like that was the way to be. Pussy ain't got no face. Just go after hoes endlessly. That was the guidance, right? That was the guidance and the meta from older generations. I remember thinking like this doesn't. I don't know about this, man. I remember seeing guys just go after. Like I remember seeing guys go after women that weren't that attractive on purpose because they were. Even if they weren't easier, the perception was, oh, I'll have an easier time. And I just remember that being a huge push. I still think there's something to. I still think a lot of people do that. And again, I'm not even saying all the guys. I'm not talking about just all black people. I'm talking about just people in general. I just remember that being a huge thing. Of just guys just going after some of the like, what the fuck, and like it was a joke. It was like cool. Like even like if you, I remember the baseball players had this shit called the slump busters. They were fuck ugly chicks, fuck fat chicks. You had John Cena talking about fucking fat chicks on Howard Stern. It was like a wave of like, yeah, smash these ugly hoes. Like the fucking what's the rapper was it Slug used to stand for Sean Loves Ugly Girls. There was like a wave of this shit. So I don't remember it necessarily comes to side. Like I think the people brought that on. I don't remember it being like a, yeah, we all notice these fucking commercials now where it's like there's just no, apparently people just of the same race can't be get married anymore. And yeah, there's a lot of psyop and shit. And I would say there's something to the overweight chicks, the black guy liking fat chicks being a psyop. There was something to it. But there's a lot of motherfuckers, black, white, or whatever, in the DM of fat acceptance bitches right now. There was a guy, I remember when I was doing something on the fat acceptance movement. What was the guy name? Like the BBW King or some shit? He kept fucking these fat acceptance models. I think one of these hoes died. Ooh, Andre Dudley says MAGA equals Embla. Bad Boy Love Association. Shots those weird ass triangles. What do you think came first? Supply and demand? Who you blame? The junkie or the dealer or the distributor? You blame everybody. It's the junkie's fault for not having self control. It's the dealer's fault for dealing in it. It's the distributor's fault for making it widespread. Everybody gets blamed. There's enough blame to go around. Watching the right cancel Bill for doing something the left was pissed about was interesting. It's always interesting when that breaks down a little bit. I wear my sunglasses and so I can. I love that song. You got to practice on the uggos. Yeah, that was a wave too. But it really backfired something crazy. It backfired something crazy. The ugly bitch love. And I'm not trying to show these ugly bitches, but our marriage rate is down, right? A lot of those ugly bitches were supposed to find an ugly dude, settle down, get married, have some ugly ass kids. That was what's supposed to happen. Instead, these ugly bitches are holding out because John Cena smashed one of them. You know what I mean? It's like maybe, just maybe, they could get pregnant by one of these guys that are out of league. That's the problem. It's no shame with people being out of your league. That's just life, right? Everybody can't get supermodels. That doesn't mean you don't shoot. You shoot your shot. You live your life because we're all just people. Because you can argue that out of your league is a stupid concept too. Because it's like this bitch might be a piece of shit. Like you know, her shit stinks. Like she's just a human. They're just humans anyway, right? But it led to a lot of overinflated egos in women, based upon and women that like not like population wise, society wise, we need these bitches to be like, again, you should just have whatever mid ass, ugly ass husband you have, y'all should be popping out kids, and now you're not because you think somebody who's not nowhere in your league is going to marry you. It's never going to happen. So now you as a woman, you're either not going to reproduce or you're going to do what the one bitch I used to work with did, and you're just going to purposely get pregnant on a one night stand and then raise a fucked up kid and nobody, it's going to fuck up society. So it's like you just fucked up everything, right? So and a lot of girls will do that. It's like, all right, well, single motherhood it is, and they don't complain about it. But you know what I mean? That's just what will happen. And now you got some fucking Karen, some fat Karen walking around, single mother in it with a butch ass haircut, just fucking up everything. She just take your fucking ugly husband and have a happy fucking life, you fucking idiot. Those generations were affected by drug culture, sexual revolution, third wave feminism, and those people scarred from WWE2 trying to repopulate. That's true. Mid chubby chicks are sleeper hits. Shout out to the mid chubby chicks. Shout out to the mid. I'm not necessarily shit on the mid chicks and the mid chubs, or the chubby chicks. I'm talking about the ogres. That works if you had a hard time talking to pretty girls. Talk to an ugly one gets used. I guess there's something to that. But that's the thing. Like, yeah, some guys just stick with fat ugly because it's easier. No matter what standards that these little say. That's true. That's true. Our marriage rates are down because the Uggos stopped glamming themselves up and ran so fast. Part of the reason we can't even see them anymore. Maybe there's that. There's not. I'm sure there's some of that. I am sure there's some of that too. Yeah, where I'm like, they talk about men being nose blind to women, and I think there's starting to be some of the opposite where it's like, oh shit, like you don't even count. Like you might as well stud it out. like you're a lost cause. You gotta just be like some girls get forced into studhood. Like it's not even you. It's not their choice. Like you just gonna have to be a stud because dudes don't even know you exist. Soros kangaroo courts demolishing the rights of fathers. That also sucked. Serving them alimony for everybody. You got grandkids. Fair enough. Don't need to worry about shit. Good. I'm getting old. I probably shouldn't be worried about the shit. But I guess because I never had kids. And I go, you know what? I actually go back and forth. I want to say I don't want to have kids. I don't want to bring no kids to this world. This world's all fucked up. Plus, I'm broke. Um, but at the same time, it's like, just not ever having the experience of having kids. It just doesn't seem. uh, There is something that doesn't seem right about not having kids, right? Hey, appreciate you being here, Wait Down. It's been a fun conversation. It's been real. Glad to catch you on the random stream. Late as fuck. Catch you around. Yeah, it's early as fuck. Now, what is it, like 8 o'clock? I will say my kids, about the only thing I don't regret. Yeah, you always hear, people tend to love their kids. People tend to love their kids. I don't want to screw one up. I don't want to screw one up. I don't want to. I don't want to fuck it up. I don't want to fuck it up. I want to be in position to succeed, but at the same time, it's like now I'm getting old. I also worry about. I don't want to be a super old dad. I feel like I'm already past that thing. I'm already 38, no kids. Like, if I met the girl tomorrow, I don't want to get her pregnant tomorrow. So even if let's say I met the girl, I don't have a kid till 41. I'm 60 at the fucking graduation. You know what I'm saying? Basically, almost 60 or at 60, depending on yeah, 60 at the graduation. If I have a kid, or if I get a girl pregnant at 41, and even if I love her and we stay together and we get married and everything's wonderful, whatever. I'm 60 at this kid's graduation. That's a you know that's a pressure. I have to be healthy. I have to be way healthier. I can't just be you know and that's another reason I'm getting healthy, man. I am scared of dying young, and I got a lot of weight. I'm gonna get it off though. I've been consistent this past couple months. I'm starting to see slow but sure results. I'm starting to really like going to the gym. Uh, thought I was born on 20. I mean, that's young. 20 is still pretty young, but I think there's an advantage of having kids young because the disadvantage is you're less prepared for life, you're less prepared for society. But the advantage is you're there most of the kids' life. Uh, my mom had me like fairly young, not around the same age. She was around the same age when she had me. So as a result, like I'm gonna have her most of my life. You know what I mean? God willing, and knock on wood, because you never know what tomorrow brings. But if she lives her life expectancy, I only have 20 years left myself after. You know what I'm saying? So like, uh, I guess there's an advantage to that. The disadvantage was growing up, but as I realized, even as an adult, you still do need your parents, and I that would be my thing. If I have a kid too old, by the time that kid's an adult, it's gonna still need me, and I gotta be around for that, and I gotta be around and ready and financially secure, physically secure. I gotta be ready for that. Uh, so that's my issue with having a kid. Oh, I feel like, and I'm not, talking about anybody else. Like, to some extent, I think there's the older you get, the more selfish it seems, right? Like, you're 50, and I know men can do it. But like, you're 50, 60, having a kid. It's like, geez, right? What do you expect for that kid? Like, how is that kid? That kid's gonna need you, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? That kid's gonna need you not just when he's 10 or 12, but when he's 22, when he's 32. Like, so you owe it to your kid to put yourself in the best. And again, you never know what's gonna happen. No one knows anything about life or the future. Everything's unpredictable. I get that entropy's a thing, but you got to put yourself in the best position to be there for your kid for the longest amount of that kid's life. That's as much of as a priority as being in the best position for that kid to live. And none of us are perfect. There is no perfect balance of that, obviously. And sometimes we have kids not in the best situation, not in the best relationships. That's fair enough to this. Uh, but still, so that's my thing. And I didn't read the last. It's 9:06 over in Cambodia, and Wayne has to get up for work at 5 to drive across the city. Yeah, I'm on. This stream is only happening because I couldn't sleep, and I did not know. I don't know how we got 2 hours of it, and I still don't really feel that tired. I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do, but I am gonna stop this stream. I'm just ranting and raving. I appreciate you guys listening. Hopefully, this is entertaining. It feels entertaining. I feel like I have fun. I had fun doing it. So that's what she said. It's been real. It's been fun. It's been real fun. If you like the video, please like the video. If you're so obliged to share and subscribe, please do that. And even if you do none of these things, thank you for watching. Thank you for your time. Good night and God bless. I'm not just leaving because Wait Down left. It's just like, we hit 2 hours. It's longer than I thought I would do. So it's time to go. And later, Cotton, appreciate you all. Peace.